Archangel Michael says, a storm has begun, one not in the skies, but in the hearts of those who once played with your name. They speak your name in silence now, like it echoes too loudly in their own guilt. You didn't ask to be feared, but the energy you carry has begun to shake their hidden plans. Someone who once thought they had control over your mind now watches you grow into the very force they underestimated. You've become untouchable not by sword, but by your silence, grace, and rising power. It is this power that now haunts those who mocked your pain. They fear what's coming for you because they know what they tried to block is now heading to you twice as strong. They can't sleep right, can't think right, because your light is not just returning, it's growing too fast for them to cover anymore. Their conversations behind closed doors are laced with anxiety, because your name has started to glow. The one they tried to silence is now the one they can't stop watching. Type Amen to get blessing 333. You are not who you used to be a few seasons ago. The version of you that once begged for answers has been replaced by a version that walks like thunder. You became a mystery they can't decode, a storm they never saw coming. The fear they feel isn't about you causing them harm, it's the mirror you now hold to their actions. You survived what they threw at you, and now that strength makes them tremble. They are unsure if your silence means forgiveness or a gathering storm. Archangel Michael says, don't soften your glow for those who tried to dim it. Walk as you are, unapologetic, divine, and rising above shadows. Your breakthrough has been noticed even by those who hoped you'd break. You have left spiritual footprints on the souls of those who wronged you. It's not revenge that frightens them, it's justice wrapped in divine timing, and they feel it coming. Type Amen to get blessing 424. They heard you were doing better, but seeing it is a different kind of terror. Watching you glow up while they shrink into their own secrets is a haunting they never expected. You are becoming someone whose mere name makes them hold their breath. There are people watching you from fake accounts, from across rooms, from the corners of silence, because they never imagined you'd become a force of such power. What scares them is how graceful you remain while rising. You didn't have to shout, your growth did the speaking. There was a time you were confused, walking through fog, questioning your worth. That time is gone. Now it's their turn to sit in silence and wonder what you know. You've got people scared of the truth finally being revealed, because they know you're no longer silent by force but by wisdom. They can't predict your next move and that shakes their soul. Type Amen to get blessing 777. You're being protected now more fiercely than ever. The angels that walk beside you carry swords of divine justice, and even your enemies feel their presence. They get chills without knowing why, and it's because your name has now been stamped with favor. They tried to dim you with gossip, but they only helped others recognize your fire. The attention they drew to your name has now backfired, it led powerful people to look your way. And now you shine too loud for their lies to matter. Some of the very people who betrayed you are wishing they could undo the damage. They never imagined your story would bend back toward triumph. And now, they fear what might unfold when the whole truth comes out. Your spiritual authority has risen. You walk in a realm they cannot touch, and their fear isn't just emotional, it's energetic. They're feeling the results of what they did, before you've even said a word. Type Amen to get blessing 939. You are being whispered about in places you never even entered. Your presence has become a warning to those who tried to make you disappear. They now realize that trying to bury you only planted you deeper into purpose. They fear your strength because it is not loud, it is stable, patient, and untouchable. That's what haunts them, the fact that you haven't reacted like they expected. They keep waiting for an outburst, but you only move with peace and precision. Some people are pretending not to see you shine because admitting your success would mean admitting their role in trying to block it. Their fear isn't just about your presence, it's about your influence. You're becoming someone they can't control. Archangel Michael says, the same people who once looked down on you are now afraid to look you in the eye. They can't match your energy, and they don't understand how you've stayed calm while the tables turned. Type Amen to get blessing 505. You are a storm they thought they could contain, but now your winds are shaking their hidden walls. There are conversations being had about how to approach you carefully. They don't know what you've heard, what you've seen, or how much you've healed. Some people are watching you in silence, hoping you don't speak. Because your voice carries truth, and truth is the one thing their comfort can't survive. They created chaos around you, but now they live in the aftermath of it. You are not feared because you're evil. You are feared because you carry too much truth, too much destiny, and too much calm. That makes people uneasy, especially those who tried to break you. Your glow is no longer just physical, it's spiritual. And every time you walk into a room, you shift something unseen. That's why their hands shake and their eyes lower. Type Amen to get blessing 666. The people who once laughed at your pain are now hiding from your rise. Their fear isn't about what you'll say, it's about how many people are already watching your journey unfold. You've become a walking miracle, and miracles are always followed closely. Even your silence is being analyzed now. They're afraid of what you'll write, what you'll post, what you'll reveal. You've become a reminder that the truth eventually outshines every shadow. There are people losing sleep, not because you did anything wrong, but because your light reveals everything they tried to cover. Your healing made their control powerless. Your elevation made their plans irrelevant. You were never just a target, you were a prophecy walking. And now that you're stepping into it, fear surrounds the ones who doubted your rise. Type Amen to get blessing 1010. You are not being dramatic, you're being awakened. You're not being difficult, you're being delivered. You're not being feared because of lies, but because your truth pierces like lightning in a room full of secrets. There are people who still smile at you with trembling hearts. Their compliments are rehearsed, their presence is forced, because they know what they did behind your back. And now, they can feel something greater standing beside you. Archangel Michael says, don't entertain their confusion, keep walking. You were never meant to stay where you were hurt. You were meant to rise beyond their reach. Every time you glow, someone who threw dirt on your name has to sit with their own mud. Your success is not vengeance, it's justice. Type Amen to get blessing 888. There's power in being unbothered. That's why your peace scares them more than your anger ever did. They expected chaos but you gave them calm, and now they don't know how to respond. You've got people unsure whether to approach you or flee from what they once called weak. The joke is no longer funny, and their silence is growing heavier by the day. Their hands shook not when they wronged you, but now, as they watch you smile. Your resilience has become a mirror, showing them what they lack. Your growth has become a lesson they didn't expect to learn. You are the consequence of their own actions returning in light. You've got spiritual armor they cannot penetrate. That's why even when they throw stones, they bounce back into their own yard. They fear not you, but the divine force that shields you now. Type Amen to get blessing 313. You are not here to please, you're here to shake foundations. That's what you've been doing. Quietly, but powerfully. One step at a time. They fear what they don't understand. And right now, your transformation is beyond anything they expected. That's why they whisper about you instead of speaking to you. There's one person especially who thought they had power over your emotions. Now, they flinch every time your name is mentioned. They thought you'd break, but instead, you became the earthquake. You have people who owe you apologies they'll never say. But their fear speaks louder than their pride ever will. They now treat you like a storm on the horizon. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, your rise will continue. Don't wait for applause or permission. The same. Ones who doubted you are already watching in silence, afraid that you remember everything. Every step you take forward now creates a ripple behind you. People who once stepped on your name are now forced to walk around it. They carry the weight of their betrayal every time they see you smile. You became stronger without becoming bitter. That's what haunts them most. You healed in silence and returned with grace, and now, they don't know how to undo the damage they caused. The universe is moving mountains for your name. You don't need revenge. You are the proof that nothing done against you could stop what was meant for you. Type Amen to get blessing 444. They think you've forgotten, but you haven't. You just chose peace over war. That choice alone has made them more uncomfortable than any confrontation could have. They keep wondering why you're so calm, not realizing it's because you already won spiritually. You're walking with unseen favor, and they feel it every time they try to measure up. You are ahead in ways they can't count, and that scares them. You no longer explain yourself, and your silence is louder than their noise. You don't chase, you don't beg, you simply align. And that divine alignment is what's got their hearts pounding. They underestimated the one thing they should have honored, your spirit. Now, that same spirit stands like a mirror in front of them. It's not revenge. It's reflection. Type Amen to get blessing 1444. Every door they tried to close behind you has become a window for your elevation. And every whisper they spoke behind your back is now pushing winds that carry your name forward. You're rising not by force, but by divine recognition. They have become their own punishment. Their fear isn't of you, it's of being seen for who they truly are while you remain untouched. They feel exposed when they stand next to your light. You never needed to expose anyone. The truth has its own way of finding air. And now that it's breathing through your glow, people are becoming uneasy. Somebody once tried to make others believe you were weak. Now they're hiding from the truth that you became stronger without needing revenge. They planted pain, and God grew it into purpose. Type Amen to get blessing 636. You have people who once mocked your vision now trying to copy it. The very ones who said you'd fail are secretly watching your steps, trying to catch your pattern. But what they don't know is, you walk on guidance, not guesses. Your growth wasn't for show. It was survival. And now, it has turned into a form of power they can't understand. They remember the old you too clearly, but it's the new you that terrifies them. Because the new you smiles with peace, and walks with power, and speaks with clarity. And that clarity is what they're afraid of. They feel the energy shift whenever you enter the room. They lower their eyes because yours carry too much knowing. You don't need to say anything. Your presence has already spoken. Type Amen to get blessing 929. They tried to block your light, but all they did was focus it. What was meant to be a trap became your testimony. And that testimony is now your power. Some people stay silent around you not out of respect, but out of fear. They know you see through things now. They know you're not blind to their motives. Archangel Michael says, this fear others feel when they think of you is not your burden, it's their judgment. You didn't bring this energy on them. Their actions brought the consequences. Let them feel what they created. You don't need to go back to who you were. Who you are now is a living warning to every person who ever tried to dim you. Type Amen to get blessing 744. You've become the proof that pain can turn into purpose. Your transformation haunts them more than any curse ever could. Because your healing was not just personal, it became spiritual armor. Now they sit in circles and wonder what you'll do next. But they can't predict you anymore. Because you're not moved by the same emotions, you've become a being of intention. Your strength makes them afraid to lie again. Your joy makes them uncomfortable in their own bitterness. And your elevation forces them to acknowledge your truth. This fear they carry is a reaction to truth. A truth they never thought would rise again after they tried to bury it. But now, that truth walks with you every day. Type Amen to get blessing 555. They are afraid because they see you're chosen. It's not something they can explain, it's something they feel. You glow differently now, and that light shows them their own shadows. You don't even speak on what happened, but they know what they did. Their fear is rooted in the fact that you never exposed them. Because that silence means the timing is out of their control now. They can't track your moves anymore. You move with spiritual timing, and nothing confuses an enemy more than when they don't know your next step. You have become unreadable. What used to be their upper hand has become their greatest weakness. They underestimated you. And now, their fear is not just personal. It's prophetic. Type Amen to get blessing 300. People are afraid of the version of you that doesn't need validation. That's the version walking now. And it frightens those who used to feed on your doubt. You've changed, and not in ways they expected. You've outgrown the space they tried to trap you in. Now you walk freely in a truth they can't deny. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer panic, you prepare. And that shift has made your spirit unshakable. They don't know how you survived, and they're scared to find out. Because if they knew the full weight of your pain, they'd understand why your power feels divine. Type Amen to get blessing 212. They feared you'd speak up. But what they fear more now, is that you don't even need to. Your actions, your blessings, your growth, all of it speaks louder than any confession ever could. There are people in your past who still replay what they did to you. Not because they feel guilty, but because they can feel you rising. They feel it in the blessings they can't stop. You're becoming unreachable. And that's terrifying to those who once thought they could break you with words, betrayal, or silence. Now, their fear grows with every step you take into your destiny. Archangel Michael says, do not shrink yourself to make them feel safe. You've earned your light. You've earned your peace. Let them feel what they made. Type Amen to get blessing 119. You were never supposed to be small. They tried to limit your shine, but divine hands kept pouring into your soul. Now, you're overflowing, and that scares every soul who tried to dry you out. They can't manipulate what they can't reach. And now, they can't reach you. You've grown too far into light for their shadows to matter. Some of the same people who once said, "You'll never make it," now sit quietly hoping you won't mention their name. Their fear isn't about exposure. It's about truth. You've walked away from cycles. Broken curses. Chosen healing. And in doing so, you became someone even your enemies now admire, from a distance. Type Amen to get blessing 717. Even those who still carry hatred toward you are confused. Because you've blessed people around you without seeking revenge. That makes you a mystery they can't decode. They fear that your silence holds stories that could ruin their image. But you're not focused on ruin, you're focused on rise. And that unsettles them even more. You are being watched by eyes that once rolled in judgment. But now those eyes look with fear, because you were not destroyed. You were transformed. This transformation scares them because it didn't come from the world, it came from above. And what is given from above cannot be taken by man. Type Amen to get blessing 818. What you carry now is not just strength, it's sacred. That sacredness makes every fake apology, every hidden hand, every secret betrayal come alive again, in their conscience. You are now living proof that betrayal doesn't bury purpose. It exposes it. It awakens it. It accelerates it. You've become the divine proof that nothing done in shadows can kill a soul lit by truth. You walk with the kind of grace that burns pride from those who never believed in you. So keep walking. Keep glowing. Keep rising. Because now, you've got people scared not of your hands, but of your heart. The kind of heart that overcame without hatred. Type Amen to get blessing 3333. You have become the storm they never prepared for. Not the kind that screams, but the kind that shifts atmospheres. And now, every step you take makes them question how much more is coming. They used to feel superior when you were quiet, unsure, or healing. But now your silence holds authority, and that terrifies them. They know you carry something they can't compete with, divine elevation. What you endured has become the very energy lifting you. And they feel it like pressure in their chest. It's not punishment, it's spiritual compensation moving in your favor. The fear they carry now is not paranoia, it's consequence. They spoke against your rise, and now your rise is speaking for itself. Type Amen to get blessing 2020. Your name carries weight now. Not because you forced it, but because heaven sealed it. And that's what burns them the most. Nothing they did could stop your moment. They hoped your glow would fade. But every time they look, you're brighter. It's confusing to them, how someone who was once broken could now be this unshakable. There are some who silently pray that you never tell the full truth. Because your truth would dismantle every fake story they crafted. Your truth is the one thing they can't rewrite. You've become untouchable not because of who you know, but because of who you are now. And they don't know how to engage with the version of you that no longer tolerates nonsense. Type Amen to get blessing 5555. Archangel Michael says, your silence is sacred, do not waste it on explanations. The fear they feel is the echo of the lies they told and the games they played. You don't owe them anything but distance. They think you don't know the full story. But what they don't realize is, God revealed it already. You just chose healing over proving a point. Your journey has made people afraid to approach you. They think you're still wounded, but your wounds became your wings. And now you fly where they can't follow. Some people are watching you win and wondering how. But it's not your job to explain the grace that covers you. That's between you and the heavens. Type Amen to get blessing 4646. They plotted your downfall like they were the author of your life. But they forgot that divine timing has the final say. And now they watch, helpless, as everything they tried to steal is restored to you. They are afraid of your confidence now. Not arrogance, but divine confidence. The kind that knows it belongs in rooms it once felt too small for. People are scared of how little you need them now. You don't beg, you don't chase, you attract. And that energy exposes their own desperation. You were once quiet because of fear. Now you are silent because of power. And they can feel it pulsing through your every move. Type Amen to get blessing 7272. They see you smiling and think it's casual, but behind that smile is everything they tried to destroy. You've turned heartbreak into wisdom. You've turned silence into power. You've turned pain into fire. They know the truth now, nothing they do can touch your destiny. They fear your influence, your elevation, your presence, because it no longer includes them. Their attempts to make others turn against you have failed. Because truth always rises, and now you're rising faster than they can explain. People are beginning to question their stories and see your light. They're afraid of how graceful your revenge is, because it doesn't come with shouting, but with favor. You don't clap back, you climb. You don't seek revenge, you receive restoration. Type Amen to get blessing 1234. You've made peace with the past, but the past hasn't made peace with you. It trembles every time your name is mentioned in new circles. Because your presence is proof that survival isn't the end, it's the beginning. You are being spoken about in secret. But this time, it's not gossip, it's awe. People are shocked at how you've become the very thing they swore you could never be. They thought the shame would crush you. But you turned shame into strength, and now they carry the shame instead. You've reversed the weight, without revenge. What scares them now is that you don't even mention them anymore. That kind of silence is divine. That kind of silence echoes louder than any words. Type Amen to get blessing 1717. They fear what's ahead for you because they know what they tried to block. And now that block is broken. You are free, and your freedom terrifies every person who tried to limit you. You've got people shaking in rooms you haven't even entered yet. Just the mention of your success brings a tension they cannot hide. They fear you without even seeing you. Their energy shifts when your name is mentioned, and that's how you know. The impact of your light isn't small, it's spiritual. It's shifting spaces even before you arrive. Archangel Michael says, don't stop. Your rise is necessary. Your presence is a reminder that light always wins, even if the darkness had a head start. Type Amen to get blessing 1414. Some people tried to destroy your reputation, but your fruit exposed their lies. You are now being favored in places where their words used to poison ears. The turnaround was never for them to understand, it was always for your healing.